Well, welcome to the podcast. Nathan Newberry here, your host. I got a special guest, Emily Fisher. She's joining us on the podcast. She's also a coach, and she helps a lot of people go from 0 to 20 to 50K a month, helping people to really kind of dial things in. She's also a fellow Christian. So you guys are going to get some insights from her backstory, and we're going to talk about some tactics toward the end. So stay tuned till the end of the podcast, because I want to ask her a lot of cool questions around how to build her coaching company and what that looks like, and well, with some suggestions that you guys can listen in on and get some takeaways from. Before we do that, down in the description, everybody that's listening, I want to give you a free gift. There's a free workshop of like how to grow and build online, build a sales and media team, and kind of buy back your time and leverage AI, leverage ads, really kind of get some of those things that you're trying to wrap your head around if you're starting or scaling. I got that gift down below for you guys. Go check it out. Emily, as we dive into this, one of the questions I asked everybody is, what is high performance? Like, what does that look like to you? What have you seen that play out in your life and the clients you've been able to serve?
Well, first off, thanks for having me on. I'm really grateful to be here. And high performance to me a couple of years ago would be completely different from my answer today. I would say a couple of years ago, I had my calendar stacked with calls. I was doing so many sales calls, sending massive cold DMs and cold emails, and I ended up like burning myself out at 21. And now I think high performance to me looks like accomplishing through tasks really well. I believe I was reading Jeff Bezos. He said that he likes to just focus on 3 decisions. And if he can have 3 decisions that impact his life and his business that day, then that is an accomplishment. So I would say that's high performance to me.
You left me at a cliffhanger. What are those 3 things for you?
Well, I mean, as far as like the actual 3 things, it could be anything from content, or it could be a decision that you had to make for your business. It could be even the decision to go to the gym and like finish that rep till failure. Yeah.
Okay. So you kind of create them each day. You're like, these are the 3 things I'm going to accomplish today. And that's what you kind of chunk down. Cool. I love that. Now tell the clients a little bit more about like you, like, what do you do? How do you serve people so they get some really good context of it? I mean, you probably do better than my introduction here.
So as far as how I help my clients, it's super simple. It's just Instagram ads and helping them set up a funnel to be able to convert the leads that do come in through the ads. Specifically work with coaches, Christian coaches, faith-based entrepreneurs, and yeah, we help them scale with ads and setters and help them dial in the content. But I think the main thing that I love about what we do and how we serve is how we keep God first in it all. Yeah.
That's super cool. How did you get into this? Like, bring us back to the very beginning of this. Like, how did you get into coaching? Like, bring us back to those line of the sand moments so we can get some ideas of some things from you.
When I turned 18, I knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And so even though I went down the path of going to college and studying marketing, I was building a business. My first ever business I invested into was network marketing. I paid $5,000 in full. I didn't make any money for a whole year. And one of the uplines, I actually saw on her story that she was promoting this coaching program talking about sales and funnels. And I was like, what is this new opportunity? I want to do that. So I got on the call, paid in full again. And a month into that program, I landed my first client, quit my 9-to-5 job. And then a few months after that, I made my first 20K month. And I became their head coach for 4 years. So I was teaching them, or like their clients, how to grow their agency to 10K a month. And that was mainly through cold DMs, cold email, Facebook groups, even like organic content. And then after I started scaling my agency and I got super burnt out, that's when I decided I wanted to do coaching.
Very cool. Very cool. So you had your own agency for a while then?
Yep.
Yeah. What did you have a specific niche you were helping with or do?
Yeah, I actually went into relationship coaching at that point.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So you were helping those clients with that niche.
Yes.
Very cool. And then how did you learn ads? Like the shift from doing organic, I think definitely helps kind of solidify an offer without even having to run ads, but then running ads only amplifies what you're doing. Like, how did you get into that?
Yeah. So my mentor for the coaching program that I was coaching for, they were running ads and they were spending minimum 10K a month on ads every single month. And so what I was like, I want to learn from you. I want to learn how you're doing this. And so in turn for doing their coaching, they taught me everything about ads that they knew. Yeah.
Super cool. So what are some tricks? What have you learned around ads and organic approach and everything like that? I wanted to get your take on some of the beginning stages.
Right now, ads right now, something that I'm walking through myself and that I was thinking about literally yesterday was how simple ads are. But a lot of times people overcomplicate it. Like once you find an ad that's working, just let it cook. That's what I tell my clients. Just let it cook. Don't touch it. Don't touch the budget. Don't touch the audience. Just let it stay. And then if you have extra budget, then it's like, if you're getting at least a 3x return on ad spend, start duplicating those ads that are working or testing new ads. And that's how you can really scale. But I would say a lot of people, they try and do a ton of different things and then they don't know what's really working. And so you just need to let it cook, let it simmer. And then from there, once you know that it is working, start adding more in.
Do you still do some organic outbounds at all?
That's a great question. So we actually have been testing this software, which does cold DMs. And my business partner, Gerald, he is more of like the guru in terms of testing new softwares. And he always loves to try new things. And I don't remember the exact name of the software, but he has it running, he has it set up. And I've actually noticed, this is definitely like one of those tricks that we've noticed. When you are running a software that is DMing people, we have it set to Christian coaches. And I believe that that actually helps the ads because we have the audience in one of our retargeting ads set to message people similar to who we're messaging. So if we are cold DMing people, then they will see our ads, but then it'll also show ads to people who are similar to those cold DMers. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you're doing some retargeted ads on top of it.
Yep.
Very cool. Do you have, it's just Instagram mostly that you guys are doing, or do you guys do ads on other platforms like LinkedIn or Facebook or YouTube or anything too? Or is it just IG?
Solely Instagram.
Interesting. Okay. And then you also have a school group too. Are you driving traffic and ads to the free group?
Yeah, I am. But I actually drive them to messages, and then from the messages, I drive them to the school.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. Talk to me about like, if someone wanted to start, they're like, I want to like build, I want to do coaching. What are some things that you always advise people? Let's start here. Let's think through this or whatever. What's those beginning steps for a coach?
So as far as the beginning process, I mean, first you need to know who you're serving. So we need to understand like what are their dreams? What are their aspirations? What are they hoping for? What are their worst nightmares? And typically the coaches who have gone through that transformation themselves are the best coaches because they're like most passionate and they understand that buyer, that ideal client best. And so first it's getting clear on who are we actually targeting? Who are we talking to? And then from there, even if you have like a beginner coaching offer, if you have your own transformation, I always say like that's really powerful. You don't necessarily need like all the testimonials and the social proof right away, although that is super helpful. You can still set up an ad speaking directly to who you want to speak to and have it run for just $5, $10, $20 a day and start getting leads in. So first step, I would say, understand who you're talking to. Obviously, if we're running Instagram ads, we want to have our Instagram dialed in on organic content. And so I have like a posting template that's just like, these are the posts I want you to have set up before we run ads. And I typically say at least like 12 posts speaking to the ideal client and sharing what your offer is on Instagram.
Right.
Getting the ad up. And then from there, it's just about talking to people, having conversations, sharing value so that people can see that you actually know what you're talking about. Showing up vulnerable, like sharing your story, people will resonate with that part of you, and they'll see you as not just another like coach, but as someone that could be a leader for them.
Mm.
And then after that, it's hopping on calls, hopping on sales calls, enrolling people. I kind of did it opposite. Like I started a group container first. I just knew I wanted to do group coaching, but I would advise people, if it's their first coaching offer, probably start with one-on-one.
Yeah, I always
Yeah.
tell my clients, I get 5 clients, and then then
Yeah.
you'll actually know what to create for your course, and then you'll actually know what to actually coach
Yes.
on and sequence, and so that's good. Yeah,
That's
I
that's where
always
I
start
see
that.
people get stuck, is like they're like, I can't coach because I don't have my course built out and I don't have all my systems built out, my email automation. I'm like,
You're right.
too much. Simplify it. Once you get those 5 clients in, then we can start thinking about, okay, systematizing everything, because then it's going to actually solve their pain points
Mhm.
accurately instead of guessing and building a whole course that maybe something isn't what people need.
There's some common pitfalls in coaching, and then when I was coaching a marketing agency too, it was, the systems. I have to have my website up, and you have to get my
Yeah.
LLC. I have to get the EIN number. I mean, you're like, no, just go to market, you know, go
That's
now.
exactly it.
And it, like you're saying, there's a few things you want to set up, but like Instagram and social media, there's not much to configure, but like getting clear on who you're helping and how you're helping is definitely the baseline of what you got to get going for sure. I agree
Mhm.
with you. How
And when you
often? Go ahead.
and when you go through that process of getting clear on who you want to speak to, sometimes you do have to create iterations. Like maybe you don't hit it right the first time, it's not right product market fit, and the messaging isn't landing. But through that process, you're going to start to understand, as you have conversations, like what the real pain is. And then you take exactly what they're going through, you start gathering that data, and then you can plug it into an even better ad. And then in that ad, it's like, okay, this is working because people are reaching out to me saying, I was literally praying for this.
Hmm.
Yeah.
How often do you think people need to post? They need to do stories. They need to do call to actions. What's your take on that?
I mean, when you're running ads, you are getting eyeballs to your page. And I've seen people run ads and not post content for a whole month and still see a return on ad spend. I've seen people run ads and post 2 times a day and get a great return on ad spend. So that's the luxury of ads. But I think if you're in the beginning stages and you haven't built up more of like a brand and people aren't being nurtured in your audience, then I would recommend bare minimum like 4 posts a week, showing up on stories daily. As far as CTAs go, I truly think if your ad is telling people to DM you or to follow you, definitely mix that in. Probably not every single post, but like every other post.
Yeah. What do you think about the difference between like the DM ads and the following ads? Do you do both?
I do both.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With Yeah, go ahead.
I would recommend to start with follow ads, just because it's like the leads are pretty cheap. DM ads, the leads are more expensive, but they're hot. And with the ads that we're running right now for DM ads, like it's a carousel ad, so there's like 10 whole slides that they have to read through to get to the end CTA. And those leads I see come in are very, very hot, like ready to buy. But then the follow ad leads, like they're more so just problem aware and then going through your content to like get nurtured and realize that you are the solution.
Do you talk about, at least in your stories, like pointing people to the free group? Is that a call to action that you do quite a bit? Because how
I
often
do.
do you go live in your free group?
Yeah, so every single week we have a live prayer call. So just Wednesday, that was yesterday, we had, you know, a good amount of people on there, like 30 people come on, and we were just praying. And Gerald, my business partner, he gives like a message or like a word. And yeah, those are so fulfilling.
Yeah.
We just love to serve, and I think after that, like we usually get messages from our clients that they just are so excited to serve. And
Right.
that's really the goal, is to show up excited to serve.
I think so many times as we're talking about this, when people think of like online coaching or being an online business, all they think is remote freedom and the money, right?
Yeah.
And I think they're missing a big component. And I think you and I are on the same wavelength with it. Talk about the impact part. That's really a key component
Mhm.
with building an online brand.
That was the main driver of why I got into coaching, because I was making money with the agency, but like the impact and the service was not as deep as I knew I could do.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I got into the coaching offer, I found that clients got better results. And that feeling, like knowing that you're helping people, you're serving people, that is such a driver. Now, obviously, we have to make money. It's such a luxury to be able to travel, but knowing that you are impacting lives and that people are being transformed through your work, that is what keeps me waking up, keeps me showing up, keeps me wanting to come and do this business.
Yeah. I think, God's wired us to want to help people. I think, I think the outside of our salvation, what we're looking for is freedom in three specific areas. One is, financial is always great because if the more money we have, the more we can give. And also just helps us kind of have that sanity. The other one is time, flexibility, and freedom, right? Like, and the money and the time, those are oftentimes at odds, right? Like, I can go work 80 to 100-hour work week to make more money, but then I'm really time poor with the loved ones, or I could be completely broke with more time, and that's no fun either, right? And the impact is the other part, that you and I are talking about right now. And this is an internal wiring that God's given us in the image of him. Because more often than not, like if you look at all the many creatures, like a bear, a deer, a skunk, none of them have the internal wiring of wanting to serve others like we do. And we get a lot of fulfillment and satisfaction from doing it because we're in the image of God of doing that. And you think of so many times the service and the value that we want to give people is the in trait thing that God's given us to want to do that and get a lot of fulfillment. So I love that you're a part of coaching. And I think a lot of times people get jaded, from coaches too, because they either, they have a bad taste in their mouth or got burned, or, they didn't implement things and nobody went and knocked on their door and forced them to do something, that they know they wanted to do, but they didn't do, you know, talk about the industry as a whole, and what you kind of like highlight as some key parts of that.
Yeah, the industry is changing. It's shifting. People are starting to become more aware of the tactics and the sales pressure and all of the different ways that people are wanting to make sales, and how it's not always everything that people make it out to be. And so I think following your discernment on those people, and what I've started to realize is the content that truly gets traction and inbound leads, it's not the content where I'm going in with the mindset and the intention of wanting to create money, but it's going in with the mindset and the intention of wanting to give value.
Yeah.
Like, people can feel what your intention is. We're wired for that. And now that people have seen in the online space just all of the different scams and the marketing tricks and tips, it's no longer working. And what works now, I feel, is being, I don't want to say that this is cliche, but like being yourself, like genuinely showing up and sharing your heart.
That's a
Yeah.
big one. I so often see people at the very beginning of any sort of thing that they start doing new, right? Especially people that are starting. There's a mindset shift, for them to think about, hey, I've been operating this business or this job, and now I'm shifting into coaching, right? And it's paradigm shift. And there's limiting beliefs of like, I'm not ready, or I'm not worthy, or I'm not, I don't know what to expect, and I try to, communicate those questions in people's mind of like, hey, I know you have what it takes because of being in the industry such a long time, borrow my belief, but there is some mental gaps in things that we have to coach people through. How do you go through that with some of the students that you have, and even in your own mind of what's possible?
Yeah, I mean, Holy Spirit, it's not me. Holy Spirit can guide those conversations because he knows them more than I know them.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I can ask Holy Spirit, like, what encouragement, what word do I need to share to speak life over them? Because maybe growing up, they've only been spoken death. People have only shared the limiting beliefs that they have, their own fears. And so, of course, they feel like they're not ready. Of course, they don't feel worthy. But that's not inherently who God has called you to be. And
Mm-hmm.
so, my job and my duty is to reflect how I view you, because now I'm seeing you through the eyes of how God sees you. I mean, in his grace, I feel like he's given us coaches the ability to see people for who they truly are and what they can become. And so when I feel like, yeah, people have those hesitations, which are completely normal, I have them too. It's just a reminder of, yeah, I mean, anything is possible with God.
It is. And I think so many times people are limited with that perspective of what's possible. And, if
Yeah.
anybody's like listening in here and they feel like they're not ready or they need help with coaching, like reach out to Emily, reach out to me, whatever you need. Like you got to dive
Yeah.
into it. I think everybody has a story and something to share and something to coach on. There is some personality types that are just dry as a bone that probably wouldn't be able to be the best. But if you have any sort of spark and desire and passion to
Yeah.
help, you definitely can do it. And I think everybody has something to share that can make extra money and to help a lot of people. I think that's really
Yeah.
important.
If you've been sitting on, like, if God has showed you, and however he speaks to you, that there is people you're meant to serve, and you feel like, yeah, you have like this heart to want to serve people, and you know that there is something that you could help people through because you've gone through that yourself, then it's time.
Yeah.
There's no better time than today to take that step, to draw a line in the sand and to just leap off the cliff. Every time I've done that, every time I've like decided to take a leap, even though it felt uncomfortable, felt like a risk, everyone around me told me not to do it and I did it anyways. I always grew like confidence in myself, not just in myself, but also confidence and trust in God.
Mhm.
So it's such like a spiritual journey as well that you go on in coaching.
And, talking about this, I think people are fearful of like starting for sure, putting themselves out there. But another one is a fear of investing themselves. And I think people think of
Mm.
coaching as another something elusive or different than what we've all grow up to. Like we all invested in, education. At least someone has bought a book before, someone has at least, done some private education from piano lessons to dance to karate to something that someone had to invest in something to learn something. Right. And I know for me, the first time I've spent $1 on personal development, and I've probably spent close to 100 grand now on personal development over the years. What was that like? And what was the transformation like, even in spending the first dollar?
Mm.
And even the importance of people to take action on even now. Like if people are even on the sideline, they probably need to hear your story of what that was.
That first business I invested into,
Yeah.
well,
Or the
I
mentorship too
actually,
that you invested in.
and what was that?
The mentorship too that you got. The guide, the mentor, the
Mhm.
coach that helped you
Yeah.
through it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I love coaching. I believe in coaching. I invested in another coach last week. So it's always proven to be an ROI, but you don't see that until you go for it. And so that first time that I invested into myself, I think it was just coming from a place of like fear, because I had seen my parents grow up and always want to work and or just not have time to be able to spend time with me like they wanted to. And I didn't want that for my life. And it was kind of just like, if this doesn't work, I'm going to find a way. That was the
Mhm.
mindset. There's no other way. And anytime I would go and work for someone else, like I was working in Qdoba, like making burritos, I was always the one that would like stay after longer and just work myself to death. And I worked at Fred Meyer and I would come home crying. And I just knew that no matter what I did, I had to work for myself.
Mm.
And so for a whole a year, I actually knew that I was going to invest into this, but I didn't have the money. So I saved up for a whole year. I didn't buy coffee. I didn't buy clothes. I ate at food banks. I did whatever it took to be able to get resourceful enough to have that $5,000. And it was kind of funny because going into it, I thought it was going to be 10 grand. And I had 10 grand to my name because I was like, whatever, I'm just going to give it all. And I come into that sales call. She's like, it's 5K. I was like, oh, bet. Okay, I still have money. Praise God. And yeah, it was amazing. I got to learn a lot about mindset. And even though I didn't make a sale, it was still fortifying my mind to be resilient and to take action and to show up even when it's scary and people are watching you and they might be judging you.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to kind of shift gears with asking you about some of the specifics around like your setup, your systems, your team. Like you're in Tulum right now, but you're from, Bellingham, Washington originally, where I live in Washington too. I mean, you had a few hour difference in driving, but like talk about your team stack real quick. And I got some other questions for you of like what it looks like. You got a business partner, it sounds like too. I mean, that's not always easy to balance, the income from two people. Like talk about that dynamic that you have right now.
Yeah, so right now on the team, I have, well, when someone comes into our coaching program, they get their videos edited by us. So we have a team of 2 YouTube editors and 2 editors for just short form content. And then we have setters. I have one amazing setter. I love her so much. She was a gift from God. And also my business partner, Gerald. I met Gerald about a year ago just through Instagram. And for around like 6 months, he was just coaching my clients on sales. And I, at the time, I was getting calls, but I couldn't close them. I wasn't like properly trained up. And I was like, God, I need someone to help me. And so in the moment of like my deepest, darkest moments, I was like, Gerald, will you hop on? And there's a whole amazing story about that from his side because he also surrendered a business, and then I called him the next day. And from that moment on, so now he was doing all the sales calls and I was bringing the calls in. Like the first month, we had one of our biggest months. And so I just felt like really aligned. It's definitely hard to have a business partner. It's not easy, but it is so fulfilling. It's so rewarding to be able to build a business with someone else and share in celebration. He's coming down with his wife tomorrow, and then 7 of our clients are coming down to Tulum as well, so we can all hang out. And I think I wouldn't be able to sustain this on my own. I mean, maybe I could, maybe that's a limiting belief, but I think it's a lot more fun and rewarding doing it with someone.
And it's given you a lot of freedom too when you build a team. Like from you doing it yourself and having a team, talk about what that's been able to look like for you in your normal weekly schedule.
Yeah, so when I was in Bali, actually, I lived there for 7 months and I was just making content pretty much. And then my setter was booking calls and then Gerald was taking the calls. So it was like literally so awesome. My schedule was completely clear and all I did was just coach and create content, which is absolutely a dream.
Hmm.
And so it's just allowed me to have that freedom on my calendar. So I have a couple of days just for content. And right now I'm actually taking the sales calls, because he's ramping up his own Instagram to be able to take calls from his side as well.
Very cool. What are some of the systems that you have in place? Do you guys use ManyChat or Go High Level, or it sounds like you have School, which is hosting your
Of course.
community. Do you guys chat there too, or do you guys use Slack? I'm interested in your back end here.
Yeah. So we use Slack for community. We use School for the course, Slack for community. We have MailerLite for emails. And then Notion for like our CRM, all of our documentation, all of the worksheets are in Notion. I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
So how are you doing your like Instagram? You have all the setting and stuff. Do you guys use? You guys don't. You guys use
ManyChat.
Notion. You do use ManyChat. Yeah.
Yes, ManyChat.
That's for automations, or do you guys use it to kind of know where people are at and tag people on there? How do you guys leverage that?
Yeah. Yeah, we use ManyChat for DMing and also tagging. A cool feature that has come out on Instagram though is when you label people. So you can label them as like lead or booked or paid. And so it actually comes through on Ads Manager. You can see which ad and how many people have come through from that ad and what the cost per purchase is. So that's really awesome. We've been implementing that.
What's your typical ad spend right now?
Yep. So last month we did like around 4,500 in ads. Month before that we did like almost 6, but I've just been like steady at like 5K
Yeah.
a month.
How many
Yeah.
new clients then does that give you a month?
Yeah, so last month we did 37K cash. So I was like 9x return on ad spend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool how the progression of those things happen with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then internally, like you have your own team. Are those all overseas or are they, local to you? Like, what does that dynamic look like?
The editors, they're all, overseas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I found some great ones in the Philippines. Have you found some good ones somewhere else?
Philippines is awesome. Yeah, I've heard great things about Philippines. I have one in India. I think one in India, and I think the rest are actually in Bangladesh.
Are
Yeah.
you going through an agency to help you with that, or did you just kind of job search and find them through Upwork or something? Where did you find them?
Ooh, yeah, I've had them for all of them are super loyal. Like I love them. I've had them for so long, so I can't even remember. But I would say probably Upwork and just people like reaching out on Instagram wanting to work for us. And then we have like Google Forms that have all of the editors that have reached out. So if someone I'm looking again, then I'll go there.
Do your clients pay you extra for editing that stuff, or is that included in your guys' service?
Yeah, it's included.
So, like, how many of those you guys do a day for those clients? Is there a limit, or you just whatever people
There is
need?
a limit. Yeah, so we do 15 edits for our
Okay.
clients. And then like the process actually for onboarding, this might be helpful for people. So within the first 7 days, the goal is to get their ad filmed and edited and up. And then the VSL ideally within that 7 days too,
Do you
because I
help them
have a
script
goal.
that out for them?
Yeah. Yeah. So we hop on a call like right after the sales call. We script out the ad and then we get it edited and launched week 1.
Week 1. That's so cool. What about like helping them outline their course, or what other content? Do you script that out too, or do you just kind of show them how to do that?
Yeah. So in the course, we have a module on content. And so that gives them like a worksheet to start thinking about hooks and ideas. Then as far as scripting, like that's what they do. I feel like there was another question you asked.
What about AI? I'm curious there. How much of that are you using for you personally and your team? And then how much of that do you teach your clients?
Oh, you asked about the course too. I want to hit on
Oh,
that.
yeah.
And then the course, yes. So building out a proper course, we have a few videos on that. Program building, community building. Then AI. Yes, I love AI. AI is really awesome. But I will say, I feel like Holy Spirit's been telling me like stop using AI as much. Like don't rely on it, especially when it comes to like dream interpretation, or sometimes at night I'll just start like downloading content ideas and I'll start thinking about like real scripts and it'll just come through. But if I rely on AI for all of that, then I feel like that muscle goes away. So I feel like there's a balance.
I think there is. I mean, you don't want AI to like take over all your processing power and thinking, you want it to be like
Exactly.
creative on some aspect than just a bot kind of giving you generalized creativity. So I think there's something to be said there for sure. Yeah.
Definitely.
What else should I be asking you? I got another one here. Your
Yeah.
sales team, your setting team, the
Yeah.
outbounds, the sets. What's your typical KPIs for your sales and setting team?
Yeah. So setting, as far as setting goes, daily KPI is at least 2 calls booked, 100 touch points a day. And then from there, you know, I have daily meetings with my setter. And so we like to go over DMs, go over KPIs, go over goals, and then she fills out uh, the worksheet that has just like all the conversations, leads that she's booked, any just overall notes so that we can know what's going on. And then she'll let me know if there's people that I need to voice note, because I feel like voice notes create a lot of connection.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I'll go in there at the end of the day and just start voice noting people in the conversation.
Is that setter, is that state bound or is that overseas too?
She's in the US.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's something to be said with there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you train her or did she have to go through a program and then you found her?
She went through a program and then I found her, which is a really interesting origin story. We had a setter and he wasn't working. He wasn't performing. We loved him. I loved him, but sometimes even though you love them, you got to let them go. And I felt like the Lord was saying, like, it's time to let him go. And so I just was like, okay, I don't have a setter. I'll just jump in. So I just started DMing people. It was just a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember reading, I feel like the Lord told me to go to Genesis and learn about Rebecca and Isaac. And then my mentors reached out to me. It was like, hey, I have a setter. I think that she would be good for you. And I was like, okay, cool. Let's hop on a call. And then she ended up, like, her name was Rebecca, spelled the exact same way. And what's really amazing is she came back to Christ and gave her life to Christ through just, I think, being in the community. So I just love how God works all things together for good.
That's so cool. How often do you coach your clients? Is this one-on-one or is it group coaching calls? Like, how do you have your setup that way?
Yeah, so we have one-on-one clients, and then we also have people who are just in our group coaching. And so for our one-on-ones, it's like bi-weekly coaching that I do with them. And then for the group, we have 3 group coaching calls a week and then 1 prayer call. So Monday and Thursday, I'm coaching them. I'm going to be coaching them after this call. I'm so excited. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, Gerald hops on and coaches them.
Very cool. Very cool. I appreciate you sharing all this. It's always fun to kind of learn, what other fellow coaches are doing and kind of diving. I hope the listeners were, picking up some cool things around how they're building and how you're scaling and everything like that. How can people follow you and connect with you more?
Amazing. So Instagram is E_Millie, MILLLY. YouTube is Emily Ann Marie. And school is just Guaranteed Clients.
Perfect. I'll put all those links down below. Go follow Emily, connect with her further. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. Thank you for tuning in on this episode, and we will see you on the next show.